Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, February 20th, 2023. Monday, February the 20th. Well, I'm better. Not 98%. You may hear a cough or two or clearing my throat, but I am better than last week, everybody. Happy to say. And look, we have 44 comments. Let's see if I'm that much better, right? I'm going to try, though. I'm going to try, everybody. So listen, let's get to the good stuff. The good stuff is Spencer takes Trina. She wants to go to Ava's closed down gallery, and they talk. They get close. Of course, they kiss, and she has that just adoring look in his face. And we knew it. We called it. They were going to bond over their parents that lied to them. However, Spencer's like, yeah, but your mom still is no Cassadine, right? Portia still doesn't trump Nicholas, but it's like, okay, but in whose opinion, right? Whose opinion? So Trina, she admitted, in the end, the bottom line, there's nobody going to be in her corner more than her mother. It's just right now with the mistakes her mother has made and how her mother handled it, she's just not, she don't want nothing to do with her mother right now. And that's understandable. She needs some time to, for one, find out whose daughter is she, and then formulate a plan from there. If she's Taggart's daughter, nothing would change, except for the fact that I know my mother would keep alive for me for 20 years, right? If she's Curtis's daughter, nothing will change really with her relationship with Taggart, but now she's going to have this new relationship with Curtis that has to be navigated. So we shall see. We'll see where that all goes. Then we had a good part. Curtis was Curtis. See, that look he's given Portia at the end was just this, you leaving a bad taste in my mouth. And I haven't kissed you since we said I do. And Jordan, we knew it. Tears. Tears. Oh, no. And Curtis was point blank. He's like, when we lived together, we all lived in the same house. You let me move into the same house with Trina and she could be my daughter. What were you thinking? He goes, you and I had conversations of having children because you knew that's something I felt I missed out on. And you knew I was living in the house with someone who could quite possibly be my daughter. The one thing I wanted more than anything. I just have to know. He goes, what would go through your head? What were you thinking? And she's like, it was hard, but I was thinking about Trina. And I was thinking about Taggart, even though she said Marcus. I was thinking about Marcus. I don't want to change their lives. And Curtis is just standing there like, but you were living with me, going to sleep with me every night in the same bed, and not one part of you thought enough about me to tell the truth. And he just looked at her. He goes, Portia, if Aunt Stella wouldn't have found out, and because he says you had to tell, pretty much you knew this was coming out. Would you have ever told me the truth or told us the truth? And she said, no. At least I got to hand it to her. She said, no. Because I wouldn't have wanted things to change for Trina and Marcus. And, to me, that right there would be the end all. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for telling me the truth. But I need a woman that wants something to be great for me, right? because that could have been the best gift she could have given. What? She's a nope. And so Curtis says, you know what? Now look, what I want to know is how did Aunt Stella find out? Because you didn't tell her. You certainly didn't tell her. She said, no, I didn't tell Stella. So he goes, how did Stella find out? Who else knew? And so she goes, Jordan told Stella. She goes, I don't know for sure. And he goes, but you got to have an idea. She goes, yeah, Jordan told Stella. Jordan has known for quite some time. And he goes, you mean Jordan knew and Jordan didn't tell me? And Portia goes, yeah, but she sure told Stella. I'm like, whoa, you trying to throw Jordan under the bus? You want Curtis to know, yeah, so don't think about going back to her because she kept my lie. She kept it. Curtis. But all Jordan is going to tell him, look, I'm known for a long time, quite some time, since last summer. And I urged her every time, constantly, to tell you the truth. She said, or find out. She said, and Jordan's going to tell him, it wasn't my truth to tell, Curtis. Yeah, you may be mad at me now, but it ain't my truth to tell. It was hers. And now she finally told you. Way too late, in my opinion. See, I throw Portia under the bus. Portia told me to mind my own business. There we go. So he just turned and he goes, I got to get out of here. I got to get some air. And so Portia's like, Curtis, Curtis, are you coming back? Are you coming back tonight, Curtis? And he looked at her. He goes, I don't know. I don't know. Right? So now we have Gregory goes to Alexis's office and she has some sparkling cider there. And he goes, well, what's this for? For you accepting the position at the, here at the Invader. And he told her the university said he couldn't do two things. It's a conflict of interest. So therefore he could not do that. And so she was like, wait, what? How could that be a conflict, right? And he goes, I don't know. They said it is. So he says, I'm going to have to turn down the offer, And so she's like, oh. So then she got a call from Smokes. He got a lead on the escapees. And so she goes, well, you got to get me more information than this, Smokes. Right. And so she hangs up with him and he goes, ooh, he's not reliable. She goes, oh, sometimes he comes through. He definitely comes through sometimes. So they're talking and she says that I already knew people escaped from Spring Ridge. And so she and Gregory were talking about it, and Smokesy calls back and tells her it's Ryan Chamberlain, Heather Weber, and Esme Prince. And she's like, okay, now that changes things up. So she and Gregory were bouncing things off the wall, and she kept going back to the letter. And she doesn't know what Laura knows about Ryan being Esme's father. She's like, what is the connection? So Gregory had to leave, and Alexis was just stewing, looking at the letter, reading it over and over again in her chair. So now we have Jordan, Mac, and Laura at the docks, and Kevin comes. So Kevin had to do double duty today, right? And so he finds out Ryan escaped and is not shut in like he thought. And then they're talking, and guess what came out, everybody? There are tunnels that go from Windermere all the way over to the mainland. Tunnels. Remember we were wondering how Oz Haggerty got off the island? Esme probably knows about the tunnels too. But he would have had to have really known how to get all the way back over there, but you know what, soap opera writing, right? So Laura says she's the one that told him about the tunnels. And then Max said, yeah, we know. And he brought up some schematics that the PCPD had on the tunnels. And so Laura was drawing them like a map as to how to get there, right? How to get from where they were to the tunnels. But Mac wanted to go in, guns a-blazing, and they're like, George's like, no. One of the hostages could have been injured or could get injured. But my wife is over there. She goes, I know, and she could be one of the ones to get injured, Mac. No. And so Laura says, Mac, if you were not so closely involved, if Felicia was not involved, you would be thinking through this differently, right? So, they come up with their plan, and Laura tells Kevin that Esme is Ryan's daughter, and he's like, He goes, okay. He says, now, he believes Esme's amnesia is real. He said, and Mac did say, she was saying, help me. He goes, I believe she was taken against her will, right? And so Kevin is like, that would make Ryan very dangerous because he's going to try to protect what's his. And if Esme's his daughter, he's going to go all out. So, tell me, you guys going to have to tread lightly with that, right? So now, at one point, let's go to, I'm not there, Austin. Austin was actually hooked, and I was a little salty at that. I'm like, why are they going to kill Roger Hayworth off the show yet a second time, right? So he's bleeding. Ryan, this is before Esme, once Heather hooks him, that girl gives this blood curdling scream, right? And Austin stumbles into the room where Ryan is keeping, has Ava and Felicia. And Esme is shaking and carrying on. And so Ryan's like, okay, no, it's time to go. It's time to go. Ava, you're coming with me. And he's like, I'm going to kill Felicia, right? And so Esme is still just freaking out. So while she's doing that, she goes to bolt. And Ryan points the gun at her, but not to shoot her. But she's like, oh, she's just doing all that. And he goes, look, just calm down. He's trying to tell her, just calm down, girl. And while he's trying to deal with that, Felicia comes from behind. Look, Felicia, she's no joke. Hits him on the back of the head with a banister piece. He falls to the ground. Heather's looking like, what is happening, right? Esme goes and she gets up and she bolts out the door. That was so funny. That little fight or flight, she flew out that room, right? So now Heather is like, Esme, attention's on Esme. Ava goes to the hook, and Ryan is leaning off the floor, pointing the gun at Ava, said, put that hook down. No, no. And Felicia, he gets her and he throws her onto the couch, right? He's like, I'm going to kill you. And so Heather is like, no, I got to go get Esme. I got to go get Esme. And so Ryan's like, no, you stay here and you watch these two. She goes, because I know I could trust you not to let nothing happen to Ava. And I'm thinking, what makes him think he could trust Heather not to let anything happen to Ava, only under the guise of Heather knows he'll kill her if she does, right? So Ryan says, I'm going to go after Esme. And she goes, make sure she's okay. He goes, I'll take care of her. So he goes running after Esme. And Heather has the gun, waving it around to Ava. And she makes Ava go stand by Felicia. And she goes, all right, ladies, time's up. Because she asked Ryan, what do I do about the Ice Princess here? And he said, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do with her. He goes, you're going to do that anyway, so it don't matter to me. She goes, oh, okay, cool. Right? So she goes, bang, and they kind of jump a little bit. Oh, she's cracking up. It's the funniest thing to Heather send some sliced bread her bang, right? So she's like, I'm just kidding. I don't want to shoot you guys. I didn't want to be a part of this stupid plan of Ryan's because really, all Heather wanted was Esme. She didn't necessarily want Ryan at all, which is why I don't know why she just did. Well, with Esme being non-cooperative and hysterical, she did need a third hand, you know. So she's like, "You guys just go." And so Ava looks at her like, "Wait," and Felicia looks at Ava and like, "No, she's gonna shoot us in the back if we go," you know. And so she goes, "Look, just go. You ladies are free. Fly, go." And they goes, "You're gonna let us go?" And she's like, "Yeah, this ain't my plan. I don't care." And she goes, "Ava, you know your way through the tunnels to the mainland." And I thought, "Oh, Heather knows about the tunnels. Okay." Is that after when she tried to hook Nicholas? She went through the tunnels to escape, right? And so she goes, "Go." And Ava goes, "Not without him, Austin, right?" And she goes, Heather says, "How you going to drag him through the tunnels?" Or Felicia said, "Not without Austin." One of them said it, right? And Heather's like, "How you going to drag him through the tunnels?" So Ava goes, "You know what, Felicia?" I think it was Felicia that said that. When we get to the mainland, we can always send help for Austin. Oh, okay. And I'm thinking, Austin's going to be dead, you know. You only got a good hour before the venom kicks in, right? So Heather says, "Well, you know, Ava, you know what? You just might want to hang back." And Ava's like, "And why is that?" She goes, "Because you might want to take care of Ryan yourself. Because, oh, you don't know half of what Ryan has done to destroy your life. And once I tell you, and once you find out, you're going to want Ryan all to yourself." And Ava's looking at her like, what else has he done? What else has he done? You know, and Felicia's like, "Come on, Ava. Come on, let's go." And it just showed Ava looking at Heather. And I'm thinking, Ava's going to stay, right? Because Ava can't help herself. Okay. So, but I already know Felicia's going to be smack dabbing out of there. But what I don't know is, does Felicia know her way through the tunnels? Because if she doesn't, I wouldn't go in those tunnels, right? Felicia, especially since Heather's letting her go, I'd be, well, I'm going to take the launch, which Heather wouldn't want her to take, right? Heather'd probably make her go through the tunnels and, you know, good luck finding your way out of there, right? But if Felicia does go in the tunnel, she's going to run into Matt and Jordan and, you know, and the police, which would be good. I mean, we'll see how they're going to do that. So then we have Ryan still running through the grounds of Windermere trying to find Esme, and he finds her laying on the ground in the snow. And he gets closer and he goes, "Esme, Esme." And she stands up. She goes, "Ah," and she's trying to move away from him. And he goes, "No, no, I'm going to take care of you. You know, and it's cold. You don't need to be on the ground." And he goes, "Come on, you're better off with me." And she's like, "Really?" And so she goes, like, "I can't get up." She goes, "My water broke." And I thought, okay, as soap fashion, you know, more women have their babies on the side of the road in a soap opera than any other place in town, right? Because that's not what hospitals are for. Just to have your baby out. No type of anesthesia. You going all natural, ladies. If you in a soap, you having your kid out, right? So we'll see how they do it. Is Ryan going to deliver the baby with one hand? I don't know. I think he's going to get her back to Windermere because she could walk. He's going to get her back to Windermere and probably Ava and Heather will have to deliver the baby while Jordan and everybody else are coming through the tunnels. Now, what I don't, and I'm telling you, if they do this, I'm going to be so pissed. Mind you, Esme and her baby are going to end up at GH, right? That baby is going to be in the same NICU unit as little Amelia. There better not be a baby switch. You know what? If the writers write a baby switch, I'm going to be so pissed off because, see, for one thing, Michael and Willow and the whole family and Liesl Obrecht and Crazy Nina and Sonny, they all know what Amelia looks like. 100%. So there better not be any shenanigans with Willow's baby. Willow's life is hanging in the balance like that. That's going to really piss me off. Okay. To the 9th degree. So that pretty much is it with today's General Hospital. I mean, it was pretty good. They're tying up, closing up 2 storylines at the same time, or not really closing up Portia and Curtis. The secret is out. Their stories are just beginning, realistically. But now we got to see. We already know Ryan Chamberlain was not going to be out for long at all. And neither was Heather. They're both going to end up going back to Darkham. Actually, Heather, Darkham, Ryan probably Pentonville, because Darkham is for the criminally insane, even though Ryan is criminally insane, but he's too smart for his own britches, so he don't think he's insane. He just knows he's a criminal. He's a serial killer. That's all he knows. So anyway, let's go to Comic Corner. Comic Corner. Let's see if I can get through Comic Corner. Take a deep breath here. We have Susan, got a great, good comic going on. Susan, I'm going to skim it. You were saying you were disappointed that Austin got hooked. He went to the room with Ava and Felicia where they were being held at gunpoint. When the camera went to Heather and Esme standing next to her, of course, Esme is screaming. And she did a great job of screaming. As they entered the room, Ryan is like, you were supposed to wait in the car. And then somehow Esme, of course, we all know, I just said how she got out there and collapsed. And Susan did a great written recap. Everybody go back and read it. And one thing Susan asked at the end is, the other question is, where is Mason and Nicholas's body at? Did Austin move him off the premises? He got attacked before he could tell Ava. I really honestly believe that is going to happen. Ava's going to not know, because somehow, let's be real, they didn't write a good storyline for Roger Hayworth this time around at all. So if they killed him, if he's a victim of Heather, I could see it. And that would be a neat and tidy way that now Ava doesn't know what happened to the body, right? And that could leave it open for Nicholas to come back later. Okay, Lisa says your recap on Jackson the donor is possible to have been done off screen. Doing that, leaving the door open to add new characters and rewrite the story. Well, it didn't happen off screen. Jack never left. And everybody accepted the fact that was Jake's kidney. Jax had no reason to think he needed to go find a black market kidney. And let's be real, Esme would have had that operation. So they just decided to rewrite history, as they do in soaps all the time. They just decided to take the little Etch-a-Sketch, shake it up, and write something new on it. And then Lucy says, it's time for paternity tests for all involved in Portia's secret exposure. Cindy said, Trina will move out of Portia's house immediately. The house belongs to both Portia and Curtis. One of them will probably be moving into the Metro Court as fast as they could pick up a bag. and they should get DNA tests so they'll all know who is who. Cindis also says Curtis will probably only stay in the marriage if Portia turns out to be pregnant, but he'd also probably feel that he couldn't trust her. Exactly. So chances for a happy marriage are slim. It would have been a more powerful storyline if Curtis were Trina's father and Portia had known it, all along. I didn't think the writers made the best of the story any more than they did the Hook storyline. That is so true. They could have done so much better. Deborah says, glad you are feeling better. The show was awesome today. Ryan is scary. Heather must have been watching the house and saw the doctor entering the front door. She grabbed the hook from the boat and came after Dr. Holt. Hope he can stop Heather or Ryan, and the cops better get a boat to get onto Windermere, where they're taking the tunnels, Deborah. And where is Esme? Portia is just sad, wondering what's going to happen when she finds out about her paternity. If she turns out to be a Quartermain, what Quartermain? Curtis is not a Quartermain, right? And Portia herself is not worried about her paternity. Her mother's sick, and her father was there. And then she says, no honeymoon night for Curtis and Portia, but perhaps Trina and Spencer might. I know they're bonding, aren't they? LOL. Just hope they finally catch up to Ryan and Heather. Esme is in trouble, and if Esme gives birth, I hope they don't hurt her baby. That would be interesting. But does Esme need a baby? Does that baby storyline need to continue? I don't think so. We'll see what they choose to do with that. Linda says, glad you're feeling much better. Linda, did you put my real name there? Shame on you. Love your recaps. LaShawn said, Oscar's mother's name was Kim Nero. Did I say Navarro? LaShawn says Nina's mother is dead. She died in Pittenville. Yep, she did die in Pittenville. Annette says, I still say, Annette, I'm not even going to read that comment. Not even, no. Okay. Annette also says, Ryan will kill Heather. Heather Weber's been around for so many years. Heather ain't dying. Neither is Ryan. They're just going to get locked up so that they could be written a new story in 3-4 years. They'll be back out again. They really will. And finally, Ryan will go back saying, look, at least I could talk and move now. Sherry says, who wants a castle not fully staffed? I would start with security, right? I feel like they showed the launch in the 80s when Stefan was there. I'll try to research it. Thank you, Sherry. I would like to know that. YAA says, so did Heather tie up Esme in the car while she was hooking? Look, we found out no, right? Because isn't Esme trying to run away from them? That's the point of her going to Windermere anyways. I thought she was just wanting to run with Esme. Well, she did. She did want it to just be her and Esme. She had her chance. But Heather is kind of crazy. Well, Heather is crazy, not kind of crazy. Heather is crazy anyway. She was flowing with the wind. Lisa says they need to call the National Guard. And Michael says, I have never seen the launch nor anyone aboard the launch. You can take a private boat can you take a private boat to Spoon Island? Yes, you can. Anybody can. All this activity at Windermere. I hope Spencer and Trina don't get the bright idea to go back there to stay with Ava. I think Curtis will keep the same energy with Portia as he had with Jordan. Yes, he did. He is consistent. However, with time, Trina will reveal is revealed to be his daughter, he will forgive Portia because she'll be the mother of his daughter. I know, isn't that right? They may even reunite as an in Mac family, intact family. Monday should be really good. How long will it take for Taggart and Curtis and Trina to get a DNA test? General Hospital's got years of conflict. If Trina is in Ashford, you know what? Jordan works at that hospital. I wouldn't put it past, not Jordan. Portia works at that hospital. I wouldn't put it past her to try to fix the DNA test. Oh boy, that would be rotten, right? I hope they don't kill off Willow. It's like, Willow who? Oh, that's right. She's only got hours to live. Okay, yeah, that Willow. Willow and Nina have lots of story left to be told. Don't mess up these stories, writers, or don't mess these stories up, writers. I'm so glad you're feeling better. Thanks for pushing through in spite not feeling well. Great recap as always. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I tell you, woo, a little rough, and it showed, right? That's real life, though. Ron says, great job you're doing. They have never shown the launch. It's always been talked about. The doctor might get one over on the hook, but wouldn't Ryan hear them making noise? Ryan heard, everybody heard Esme screaming. But and then Jane says the other hook killer is Nina's mother. Nina's mother's dead. And then Marcia says Nina's mother died in prison. PBM, peanut butter and cheese, right? No, PBM cheese says, how many times are they going to kill Roger Hayworth's character? I was waiting for Austin and Ava to get together. I know. I thought they were leaning towards that. Adriana says, you sound much better. It's a hot mess in Port Charles right now. I love that Taggart went straight into father mode with Trina and assured her some stability no matter what happens. I hope this isn't the end of Austin. I know. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And Cherie says Taggart should be Trina's number one supporter no matter what happens. Ava should be number two. Who is Spencer? Spencer is Trina's number one supporter, but should be her father. And then Ava loves her like a daughter. And then Spencer loves her as a boyfriend/friend. Marcia says to Cherie, Trina needs Spencer and he needs her. Anariana says to Cherie, Trina's heart wants Spencer. He is a support not neither Taggart nor Ava can provide. My father alone raised me, and he was my greatest supporter and my best friend. The support my husband gives me daily is not what my father can give. The majority of the fans want to see them together, at least for right now. But a done deal, either we like Spencer or not. Oh, wait, it's a done deal either, yeah. Either we like Spencer or not. Yeah, it'll be a done deal for now until he's true Cassadine nature has to come out. And Trina's not going to be able to live with that. She's not. Sandy says, with all of the crazies in one place, perhaps, or maybe the PCPD will be able to catch one of them. I know, right? I'll bet Esme goes into labor and Heather and Ava will deliver the baby. That's a great possibility because I think Felicia's going to book. Casey Grace says PCPD can't catch a cold. That's so true. And then Casey says, where is Jason when you need him? LOL. And then Sandy says, absolutely. I miss him so much. Yes, I do. And then NK Rose says, I'm surprised Portia didn't mention Curtis's drug addiction. Oh, that's right. And then Life in Betweens says Curtis once mentioned he met Portia 1 year into his sobriety. So he wasn't on drugs during their affair. He didn't know if she even knew about his addiction back then. If she did, it didn't stop her from wanting to be with him. And Yolanda says, it's great to be a wingding when we find out Trina is Tagger's daughter. Jordan has been sickening from day one. Just watch. Jordan has not been sickening. If Curtis comes dragging back, if he'll tell her to go there, Curtis is not going to go back to Jordan. I don't see the writers rekindling that. I mean, to me, see, when Curtis and Jordan were together, it was the other actress that played Jordan. And the other actress to me had better chemistry with Curtis, the actor. This Jordan, to me, the chemistry is not as good as the other actress that played Jordan. And then Yolanda also says that's why Trina doesn't have the schizophrenia markers. Well, we don't know about Trina yet. She's never been tested. Yolanda says, are we sure Mason or the assistant mayor wasn't the original Hook? We don't know where they were going with that Hook story. I can tell you this: the Hook was left-handed. Cherie says to Yolanda, forgiveness should never be pushed on soaps. Spencer should never forgive his trash father, Nicholas, no matter how hard his family and friends try to force him into it. Just like Sam and Lucas never forgave their trash father, Julian. They sure didn't. They never forgave Julian. And Sandy says, thanks for the recap. It's going to take a minute for Trina to forgive Portia. Have a great weekend. Woo! Everybody, I made it. I made it through 44 comments. Wowzers. But thank you. Look, Comment Corners is a very important part of the daily recap. So thank you so much for your comments in Comment Corner. I'll be back tomorrow, but you know what? Tuesdays are usually kind of a slack or slow day, but we shall see what happens. And I'll be back to do a recap on it.